demand is driven primarily through the cost of money. And if the cost of money keeps going up, demand will continue to shrink.
We're having much more challenging conversations with our clients.
The truth is that, we're at 30-year lows in transaction volume. So that's why we have to be very intentional about swimming where there are actually people that are motivated and qualified and learning the skills that we need to be able to convert the opportunities that are available to us.
Since the rates started going up, our market has been so volatile. 6 months is hot, 6 months is cool.
What is the price of gas right now in California?
Like 6 or 7.
What we don't recognize is that has second and third level consequences within the economic machine. And it takes months to work that into the system. There'll be inflation. Everything will just cost more. I don't see anybody really talking about this. The focus needs to be as agents, like, well, who actually is buying and selling? And what I would propose is the people that are, is like, if it's an E-shaped economy, some of these people are, right? The people that are doing like 180 to like, or 100 to 180,000, but increasingly they starting to need assistance from outside sources. And these people that are in the top, let's say 5 to 10% of income earners, or people who have access to capital, meaning like not just from a mortgage, but from family. If I'm going to serve those two groups, I want to have the listings that those people are buying. The second issue is where can I find those opportunities with those listings?
I'm noticing that single family residences are a lot more attractive than condominium complexes. If there's inflation going on in the world, you got to think about these HOA fees have been going up tremendously.
Oh, they've jumped, like in some instances they've doubled.
And what's really interesting too is that like let's say you've got a 30-year-old building. Not only that, but what's happening is that the cost of everything is going up, but the building now is old enough where a lot of things are needing replacement. Like, so the roof is 30 years old, but the roof doesn't cost what it cost 30 years ago. Now it costs a lot more. So they're having to reassess these items. But so I am noticing financial pressure in the marketplace, even from people that there was a point where people were doing something called the 2-1 buy down. And all the realtors were saying, date the rate, marry the house, which basically like, hey, look, like
operating under the assumption that I can lower the rate,
and I can
refinance.
Yeah. Which I hated that way of selling. Like if you're a realtor and you're saying date the rate and marry the house, you're operating under the assumption that they're going to be able to refinance in 2 years and that rates are going to be lower. I don't like selling like that because you don't control what's going to happen and you're promising something that you may or may not be able to deliver on. Very high probability you're not.
Yeah. And I think, because you've seen it in your market and I've seen it across the country, it's like a lot of people who entered into home ownership under the false misperception that in a few years they'd be able to
refinance
at a lower rate are now in trouble. They're having to do short sales because like there's no equity.
Here's a different way to sell that. Let's say it's a $3,000 rent. They could go out and rent something for $3,000, and to buy, it's $4,500 payment a month. How can somebody justify a $4,500 a month versus renting for $3,000 a month? And the reality is that those two things aren't equivalent. What I mean by that is that when you have a $4,500 payment, $700 of that is going to be something called principal pay down, which all that is a forced savings account, meaning like your principal is going down by $700 every month. So instead of $4,500, that's really $3,800. You have the interest rate deduction and the property tax deduction as well too. So instead of like date the rate, marry the house, I would be going over like, look, if we're thinking like $3,000 and $4,500, obviously the easy decision is the $3,000 rent. However, we're not like evaluating them the same way because there's other tax incentives and principal pay downs that we're not factoring in. So I would be having a rent versus buy calculator and being like, look, this is what your $4,500 a month payment actually gets you. And this is what it actually nets to. So what I've realized is that when you do the math, it's actually somewhat equivalent as renting because of the tax benefits that you get. That's assuming there's no appreciation, basically.
Another way you can go out of general concern, and it demonstrates that you're not overly attached to outcomes, is like, well, let's say for some reason on the outside chance you weren't able to refinance in 2 or 3 years and you had to maintain the payment of $4,000 a month. Would that create financial instability for you, or would that be okay? And then based 100%. On what they say, now we can, begin to guide. So you need the truth in order to produce favorable outcomes. So the truth is that, we're at 30-year lows in transaction volume. The truth is that interest rates have stayed where they're at and they're going up. The truth is that we're in for some like legitimate inflation. It's an amazing opportunity. It really is. You'll make more money than you ever thought was possible. For those who don't, it'll be very tough and difficult.
In 2008, 2009, if you were targeting standard sales, you were probably targeting 10 to 20% of the marketplace, because everything was either a short sale or a bank-owned property at that point. So the targets were either expired, and you're targeting that 20% of the marketplace that actually needs to sell, but you have to get really, really good at qualifying the leads and qualifying for motivation. Or the other people that were doing really well were the people with the bank-owned accounts, or the people that were targeting people in default. After 2012, prices started to go up and foreclosures started to go away. So at that point, it's like, okay, now what's working? So the best agents aren't the ones that find one thing that works and then just stay attached to that. The best agents are the ones that are adapting, changing, and coming up with ways to better their value proposition, pivoting as lead sources change, basically.
In order to produce favorable outcomes, you need a few things. The first is you have to be able to recognize patterns. And how do you recognize patterns? Well, you pay attention, you read a lot, right? And you can see patterns. Triangulate ideas of believable people, get into rooms with people that are smarter than you and ask a lot of questions. Once you recognize a pattern, it's having the courage to actually use it. Now you have to have the courage to pivot. Leaders anticipate, everybody else reacts. So what I'm trying to tell everybody right now is like, you should anticipate rates going up, transaction volume staying where it is, if not dropping a little bit. That's what you should anticipate.
Now, it's really interesting. There's another app. It's called FedWatch. And that app gives you probabilities of the Fed fund rate dropping. The probabilities of the Fed fund rate dropping were pretty high, maybe sometime around like October, September. Now, if you look at the probabilities of it dropping, they're not.
The 30-year Treasury note in 2022 was 1.76. Today, it's 5.
It was earlier part of this year, the market was predicting the Fed fund rate to drop a little bit. Yeah. But now with the whole Iran and energy, that basically changed it. Because before that, the rates were dropping already.
I don't want you reacting 6 to 12 months from now, if you're listening to this, being like, oh my gosh, like, how did this happen? No, we're telling you, right? Today, on 5/15 of 2026, that with a high degree of probability, rates will stay where they're at and go higher. As a result, if demand is affected by the cost of money, demand will continue to consolidate, yes, get tighter. Also, due to the economic ramifications of like long tail effect of that energy shock and how it's the backbone of everything, 6 to 8 months from now, you're going to wake up and things are going to require more dollars to buy the same stuff. That's the environment that we're in, whether you like it or not.
Are you practicing every single day? Are you role playing twice a day? Are you chanting your scripts? It's so interesting, Aaron. Even at my level, when I feel the least strong is when I go soft on the practice. And then as soon as I start practicing, everything comes back and then the confidence increases.
And again, sometimes people might hear us talk like this and like, I'm real sensitive to like, because I'm aware like, we have a little bit of influence. So if I say something to people, like it can affect them. I don't want you to hear me like this is like doom and gloom. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for those that are willing to take advantage of it. My intention instead is to create a level of urgency because I can see something very clearly, like get on it.
I think it's the ability to be able to change and adapt. One of our agents last year, he was like, oh, expires are no good. Probates are no good. Or there's so much competition or nobody answers. As soon as his conversion starts to get better, all of a sudden he starts to convert leads now. But it has to do with your ability to grow as an individual and your ability to learn how to communicate better and learn what to say and how to say it.
And again, that will just increase the chances that you get what you want. So don't be listening to people that tell you that rates are going to come down. Don't do that. Don't be looking for like a magic pill or a magic solution or a magic answer like AI is going to solve all your problems. Don't do that. I know that that's tempting to do. Don't imagine that your CRM and getting a new CRM is going to make all the difference in the world. That's not. Instead, withstand truth, particularly in this environment, and seek out individuals who care about you enough, who love you enough to actually tell you the truth. And get into an ecosystem, whether it's ours or somebody else's. We have a free school community, guys. We give you so many different options and resources. Me and Jose role play live, on Wednesdays, and you can role play with us. We give you direct feedback from 2 guys who have sold 3,000 homes in their career. I do office hours. People can ask me any questions whenever they want. It's wild to me, Jose. There's like 10 people on that call, maybe. You get portions of my online course library for free. Like YouTube is a public service sort of thing. We give $1 million away of game for free. Just use it, man.
For years, agents thought the market would save them. Now the market is exposing them. The margin for error is getting smaller for agents. For years, agents got away with bad habits. Easy money covered weak skills. Bad lead sources still worked. Poor conversion still worked. Overspending still worked. But that market is gone.
The margin for error is getting smaller for agents. Rates will probably stay the same, if not go up. The new middle is actually 200 to 400. You have to be wildly intentional. The only people that have to sell in that environment will.
There's people out here that'll take a $10,000 vacation, but they won't invest $10,000 in a lead source that can make them $100,000.
The analogy is that
your shareholders are your children.
Ooh. All right, let's do this.